So yesterday I made a pretty costly mistake when trying to do a heater core flush. I was pulling on the hoses that go into the heater core and broke off the one of the pipes that go into the heater core. Let me flip this around, show you what I'm talking about. That's not supposed to go in and out. Like this one here doesn't move. Pulled this back and started pulling on this, but it is very stuck. I didn't even get it to move at all. It just yanked right out from the piece that's inside. Been looking up how to do it and they say it's pretty tough. Apparently you have to take almost the whole dash out, but I also read that you can just take out this and it'll be behind here. I'll update once I start taking it apart, and I'm gonna try to get every single process down so that if anybody needs to follow along, they can do that. I'm going to start by removing the glove box. I believe it is these two screws right here, this one with the little black tab connected to it, and this one, and then I'll just undo this and it should come out. So the next thing you want to remove is this dash panel, and to get that off you need to remove these. You should have 4, I'm missing one. And then this piece right here. There we go. And then there will be 2 screws that you want to remove. This one here, and then one up here that I've already broken, or was broken whenever I got the truck. And then this portion will come off. When you get this removed, there will be one wire up here for the hazards. Go ahead and unclip that, and then this should come off. All right, after getting that out, the next step is to remove the stereo. There will be 4 screws, one here, one down here, one there, and another one down there. Next, I'm going to remove the air conditioning controls, heating and air conditioning controls. I believe there's just 3 screws here, here, and here. So I took these 3 out and it moves, but I can't really get it out. I know there's gonna be some clips up here that I'm gonna have to undo once I get it completely removed. What I think I'm gonna do now is get these on this little bottom portion. Not sure if it's gonna be necessary, but I want to remove it just to hopefully make things a little bit easier. So there's one there and an identical one on the other side. In my case, the screws that I ended up pulling out were more like the push-in type fasteners. Here it is. What I ended up doing was getting a tool like this and getting it in between the two and kind of pulling it out and then unscrewing as I was pulling out. I feel like I kind of messed them up a little bit, but they were not unscrewing. It's hard to tell. It's plastic and the thread's kind of stripped. I think you can just push it back in when you're done though. So next I'm gonna try to remove this black portion above the glove box. I believe it's just gonna be this screw. There's a Phillips head screw right here. And then this screw. I'll let you know if I find anything else. By the way, that screw or bolt is a 10mm. I was able to get it out. One thing to note is this wiring loom is connected to it, and I had to remove from that bracket right here. There was one screw, and then right there is a push type connector that connects to it. So just be wary of that. I took that out first. The push type connector, sorry, it's kind of hard to see. Took that out first, and then it allowed me to kind of bend this down so that I could unscrew that. My next plan of attack is to remove this bottom support. I think this is kind of like the structural rigidity for this dash on the bottom at least. There's one I'm betting is another 10, and then 2 screws up there. Looks like this is starting to come off. It's getting loose down on that other side over here. I believe for me to continue, I need to remove this bolt, and I think there's a screw connecting this on, and I believe there's 2 more bolts here and here. Probably supposed to be one here, but I don't have one. And then that will allow us to remove the bottom portion, which helps keep on this one. So these 4 here that I was talking about are all 10 millimeter. And then this one is just a regular Phillips head screw. It's up underneath here, but it's up underneath. It holds the cable onto this dash piece. So I got that removed. On the hood latch here, there's actually 2 screws. I would suggest doing these 2 screws before taking off these 4. I did the opposite and it was a bit tougher. I started pulling on this and it's just held on by little clips on top. That came right off, so we can disconnect this. The next thing, because this is all held in by over here, we need to remove this screw, because that will allow us to, I believe, take off a lot of this. Hopefully, we'll find out. But then also, there's 2 screws under here. Those 2. That should allow us to take off this bezel around the speedometer and whatnot. Got this bezel out. One tip I would suggest is to lift this portion up. Even though it barely moves, it helps to give you just a little bit of space to pull it out. The other issue I had was getting this piece off. That is connected to the clutch start. If you put something on the left side of this, that will kind of a screwdriver to loosen it, that will allow you to pull it out. After removing this one screw here, I'm now able to pull out the lower portion of the dash. And I already pulled off the cigarette lighter, so now that whole portion comes out. I've been trying to get this connector here off, and it is giving me some trouble. Next to remove is the instrument panel. I believe there's only 4 screws to remove. Those would be here, there, yep, right there, and this one down in here. I've taken this out once before, and I think it was kind of a pain, but we'll see how she goes. All right, I was able to get the cluster out. One thing to note, down in here is the speedometer cable. Let me see if I can show you. It's right here. This is on the driver's side. There's a clip that the speedometer cable goes down to and connects into. I had to take it out of that clip so that I had some slack to pull the cluster out. Now I'm gonna start removing the electrical clips that are on it. So I got that's the steering, or sorry, that's the speedometer cable right here. There's just a clip right here, you push in and it frees it. And then now I just gotta remove these 3. Now that the cluster's out, it looks like we have this one. It's also another 10, and this one. I'm hoping these will be the last 2 that I have to take out to get the main dash portion out. I believe I got everything out, all the bolts that is, and I believe we just need to pull it straight back. I already started on this side, and I just pulled straight back and up a little bit. The heater AC vent tubing went across right here, and when I pulled it, it kind of just popped out. It's right there. Don't know if it's going to be tough to reinstall later, but we will find out. I'm going to continue on with this side. So I just found that there's one screw right there, I believe, that is holding this upper portion of the dash on. Kind of looks like that just holds maybe this vent in, but I'm gonna try to remove that and we'll see what happens. Yep, that was the ticket. She's coming out now. So pull it out and then see what I can access next. So I told myself I would not make this video like every other one I see online where they finish everything without any issues and they get through everything just fine. I'm kind of stuck on this one. I got the dash out, as you can see, but I believe the heater core's around right here somewhere. I'm probably in here, maybe back behind this though. Debating on whether I need to remove this. From any pictures I've seen, I think they have removed this, but I also read that you sometimes have to remove the AC condenser or something to do with the AC, and I don't want to do that, but some people said that you don't have to, and all of them that I've seen, this has been moved out. So I'm assuming I have to remove these two. Pretty sure these are 12s. I'm assuming I'll have to do something with these as well. Just kind of dreading going on beyond this, but keep you updated. In an effort to make this easier for myself, I removed this one, these are nuts, and then I removed this back here and the other one down there. Those were bolts. That's just holding the bracket on for the radio. I noticed that the ECU back here has these two brackets, and you can remove some screws from right there. These two. But I think I will feel better about removing these down here. Let's see if I can get those again. That one and that one connect to the front of that bracket, and then I think I'm just gonna try to move from this right side to the left side and slowly remove stuff until I can get back behind there. So I ended up removing the two 10mm bolts from here, the one from up top and from below, and then removed I believe 3. So one here, and then one down here, to just get them out of the way because they're held on with wiring looms. But these will at least make it a little bit easier. This is still pretty held on. Doesn't move. I think I'm going to have to end up removing this portion of trim from the steering wheel so that I can get to the bolts right here. Let me see if I can get it. So those bolts down there, and then likely those bolts back there, because this is just a support piece that goes across the dash. All right, just got that portion off. Here's the shell of it. There's 5 screw holes. Here are the 5 screws. Notice how these two are, the two nearest my fingers are thicker. Those go down at the bottom. There's like a strange little sleeve area kind of thing that those go in. So Hope that helps. Next, these two bad boys are coming out. That one, and I believe, yeah, that one right there. I have a feeling that the wheel is going to slouch afterwards, so we'll see what we have to do with that. Alright, at this point, I have taken out the two 14mm bolts, or sorry, nuts, there and there, and then removed two 12mm nuts and one 12mm bolt from that end, and it is still not wanting to come loose at all. You can see here it's still equally as on there, so there's got to be more supports down in here somewhere. We'll find them. So underneath the dash is this HVAC or tubing for the AC, and there's a clip right there that this connects to. Just pulled that off. Kind of glad that I'm taking this off because the previous owner was a smoker, and every time you turn on the heater it reeks pretty bad of smoke, so hopefully be cleaning this out and it'll hopefully help. After searching around, I found this one. This is right behind this steering wheel. Pray the Lord that this is the last one. Hopefully when we remove that, this whole bar will come loose and then I can start pulling stuff out from back here. I think that did it. It's now moving. But now just all the electrical that's connected to it has to be disconnected. Now the scary part, removing all that, try to document it so that I know where it goes later. Okay, I've removed these two, which will go back into there. I think they're color coordinated, so that should be easy to remember. Removed this clip that will need to go back in, and that's all I've removed so far. Kind of got this, the ECU. This needs to go under and back on this other side so it stays in, but not a huge deal. I just am trying to get some video of what everything looks like. So if I need to screenshot later, I can. Gotten a lot of the wiring looms disconnected from this reinforcement bar and from down in this area. I'm hesitant to go any further. I believe right here is where the heater core resides. So I think I'm just gonna go in and try to start removing the bolts and see if we can just pull it straight out. If I can just kind of wiggle this bar back enough to get this stuff out, I'm hoping that it'll be easy enough to do just that. I started taking these screws and nuts off. Took that one off first, and then I took the screw right here out, and right there out. I'm getting a little worn out from the day, so I'm gonna end the day here. I think I'm gonna have to undo all this wiring and then we'll get back to filming when I start back on this again. This is not my daily, well, it was my daily driver. I have another vehicle, so it's not the end of the world if it doesn't work. I can go a few days without it, but I'd like to get her fixed. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. After day one, this is what the bed looks like of all the different parts. So just trying to give you guys an idea. New day here, and I think the next thing to do is to remove some of these wiring harnesses and whatnot. I think I saw that somebody could get this out and up, and then they could get to this, and they said through the driver's side. So I'm thinking maybe getting some of this out. I did see that if you look at when I lift this, the steering wheel is still connected. So there's definitely a couple more bolts down there. I don't know exactly where yet that I'll probably be removing. But for now, I'm just gonna remove some of this. These look like pretty easy. Just do that one. And this one. Anyways, we'll get these removed. Probably these as well. And around this bracket. And this one, maybe to try to get these completely out of the way. All right, so just remove this right bracket. There are quite a few connection points in here for some of these pins right here. I broke this one. If you use a needle nose pliers and push them onto the sides behind it as you're prying it away, they will come off without breaking. So that's one thing I learned. Next, I moved this from over here to over here, and now I have some wiggle room up here. I think what they were saying to do is get this lifted up as high as you can so that you can pull this box out straight out and over to the left. I am now going to, I think, remove the 2 bolts that are down here. This one right there, and that one right there. And I wanted to make sure I got video of this so I could put that spring back. After removing those 2 bolts, the steering column is now loose, and it's actually sitting on, I don't know if you can see it, there's a bracket down here that it's hanging from. I have a feeling that was something holding the bottom of the dash on, but it's holding it and not allowing it to fall all the way down. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'll find out later probably. But as I was removing that and as it was falling, this piece was becoming in the way, and there was one screw right there that I removed, and so pretty easy to remove. But now this moves a whole lot. Time to start removing parts for this box, because I think that's all that's left. I just got the front cover off of this. There's a clip right here that comes off pretty easy. After you get this one up here off, it's right there, and it connects to this portion here, I believe, if I'm looking at the right thing. The thing is, I ended up busting one of them off, so I don't know, I may have to, I'm hoping that the screw will keep it on enough. Just be careful when you're trying to pry on it. Looks like I'm gonna have to remove all this other stuff. You can kind of see there's the heater core, and there's all the fluid coming out of it down in there. So I figured it would be easier if I removed this dash piece right here, or sorry, part of the HVAC for defrost, and I just literally pulled straight back and it came right off. So after looking around, I didn't want to remove all this stuff down here, hoping that I could just pull off this portion, which I think is hiding the heater core back there, but it's looking like it's time to remove. I think you have to remove this, this, and this, which I'm not looking forward to. As long as I get video of everything, I think I should be good. So starting off here and down here to take off these bolts down here and here. So I just removed a combined 6 nuts, well, 1 nut and 5 bolts. There's one here that are these type here. Those 3 look like they're the same. And then I have these 2 here that are almost like self-tappers. One of them goes down right, can't see it, right here on this right side. And the other one goes deep down in here, right there. I wanted to make note of that because I'm not sure I'm gonna remember. So it looks like this is kind of where the blower is. And then this is another, I don't know exactly what that's holding. And then, so I bet you this is actually where the heater core is. And then this is kind of like the flap that changes everything. So I think I'm gonna have to start removing all of this stuff. So the heater core is definitely behind this portion right here. One thing I started pulling on it and it wasn't really moving. Well, it was moving, but just not all the way. And I realized it's kind of hard to see, even without the camera. But there is the hole right here. I am assuming for the AC, for any liquids to go outside from there. So likely we'll be removing that, and then this will hopefully be coming out. I pulled this kind of apart right here, and you could see the heater core back in here. Also wanted to mention that this ECU probably should come out earlier. Just wasn't sure if it needed to, so I didn't pull it out, but I'm gonna pull it out now. Update again, that is not the heater core. That is part of the AC condenser, I believe. I don't even know why I said that. On the dash, I put a piece of tape to mark where the hoses are that go in are, and that is obviously not over here. That's more under this area. So time to start looking for stuff over here. All right, so I removed this bolt right here. This is on the driver's side. That bolt, and this started moving. But if you look at this, it's hitting this portion down here. So I found that you got to remove these 2 for whatever portion of computer this is. It's a Torx T40. So that will take those off. So I'm gonna remove those and keep on going. So I got this off. There actually ended up being one more right there that had to come out. And now it's moving significantly more, but still not coming out all the way. It's been either 2 or 3 days since I last worked on this, but it's time to get her out of here. I think there's something over here that I gotta remove. Some sort of screw or something. I originally said clip that I had to remove, but it's actually this cable that goes to the heat and air controls, and what you have to do is on the top there's this little part you gotta push in. Let me see if I can zoom in. Let's get real close. So this pushes down and allows this portion to get over it. I was bummed because I thought I got everything out and it's still not coming out all the way. Then I realized these are still connected. So this one obviously is not going to do anything. I can just pull this probably straight out. But this one I got to get out, and hopefully it's not as stubborn as the other one. Just got a tripod, so I'm going to throw it on here to put it on a time lapse to see how long it takes me to get this hose off. It might be more comedic than anything else. So I ended up crimping the one that busted here so I could get this one off, because I didn't want to really replace this one. I bet you this one's a little bit more expensive. But this one's also not coming off now. I got it off of the spot here, but I think I'm just going to end up cutting the part that goes into here because this is already starting to look like it's going bad. So I'm just going to cut this straight down and pull it off. That way I can get that stuff off inside there. All right, she's off. Now let's see if she'll come through. So I started pulling it away and I got a pretty big gap, but it's still stuck on this part that does part of the heater. And I didn't notice until just now that there's a clip on this gray wire that comes up and around to here that you have to unclip. We got the original part off, that little clip I was mentioning earlier, but forgot to do this portion. Just got this clip right here off of this hole right here, but unfortunately I broke it, and so I'll be needing to look for a new one of those. It actually bent this tool when trying to pull it off, so she was a stingy one. I just have to get this clip off, which is on that same box, and then I believe it'll pull out. I may need to get my wife to help me hold this bar up a little bit so that I can pull it out. So we almost got it all the way out. This was sitting like this. We were able to lift the bar up. My wife came and helped me. She lifted the bar up while I pulled it out, and we kind of sat it down flat. When I sat it down flat, I saw down here, there's another one of the clips and little connectors for another part of the AC controls that just runs all the way up here to right here. So that'll be the next thing to remove. There's also another thing down here with what looks like a screw that kind of just fell off. So I'll have to see what that is when I get it off. Got her out. So I see where the point of failure was, and I see that there's something that's supposed to, I guess, help that, keep you from being able to do that. But it looks like this is just like super grimy. It's not tightened, it doesn't look like either. Maybe when I was pulling on it, I loosened it too much. Not really sure. The coolant in the truck is orange, and I read somewhere that the type of coolant that I guess GMs use is orange, and it can actually deteriorate a lot of the stuff in here. So I'm gonna make sure once I get this all cleaned up and put the new one in to use the pink or red, I don't remember exactly what color it is, but the one that Toyotas actually use so that we don't have this issue again. But I'm excited to clean it up and get the new one in there.